County, can you follow that? I don't know, Danny or Deputy Healy raised any farm relief in Kerry. I know they won't be there to milk the cows, or to calve the cows, but and if you twins, then God help us all to get them. No, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be able to speak on this tonight. But I have concerns, and I have to declare, I suppose, that I am a board member of business that employ a considerable number of people, and there are not enough of us in this chamber that has helped. I know you are, Count Corla, Deputy Healy Race for a long time, and I am since 1982. And there are not enough of us in the chamber. Obviously, if there was, this legislation wouldn't be coming through in droves and heaps, and health and safety and everything else, without any fair and reasonable assessment as to the impact it's having on employers. I'm all for a fair day's wages, for a fair day's pay, and we have great employees, and we have great relationship. I want to salute them. Without them, our company and Deputy company wouldn't be able to do anything, wouldn't function. But we have to have fairness here and some consideration here for the small employers, because they're the backbone of the country. And I have some comments here about IPIC want to say about this as well, and I fully agree with them. But the small man, they have no organisation to represent them, have nobody, and they just alluded to it. They have to organise all the work and make sure the money is in the bank to pay. Unfortunately, it used to be Friday evening, but now it's Wednesday. Our company anyway, bank transfers. So it's so important in the rural land especially, and in urban Ireland, the small businesses are support. Ninatli Curl Kela, Tara, our Shin. It's so important. We're all in this together. But this auto enrolment is great, sounds great, but the penalties and the proof of the pudding isn't eating. And we are hitting towards Christmas, and hopefully we'll have a bit of Christmas pudding and a bit of custard. But the proof of the pudding is in eating. And the pain of this, while it might be small, it's not small, it goes incrementally up every year. And the penalties, I looked at the penalties, 50,000, and jail. Every letter I think that businesses get now from revenue, there's the jail term at the end of it. And that's fine for the rogues and the people that have to deal with cab and all, but for the ordinary business person that's working hard, and there are many, whether they be 1 employed or 10 employed or 5 employed or 15 or 20 or 30 or 40. I think Enterprise Ireland and other companies and IBEC won't talk to you unless you have 50 or more employees. But just a lot of employees, that's a lot of money of a Wednesday, and the PRSI and the insurance schemes and all that goes with it. And Deputy Healy also alluded to the, the new paternity leave and the domestic leave now as well. If they're all grand, and some are needed, and some people need them. I'm not saying that, but they all have a cumulative, huge impact on the employer and on the employer's ability to stay going, keep the ship afloat. Because insurance costs, electricity costs, oil costs, carbon tax, that cursed thing, that's the biggest fake that was ever imposed in this house that we can't even debate it for 10 years. It's just added every year to the budget as a measure that comes in, carbon tax. And then we find when I asked the Taoiseach about the couple of 100 million of it, 680 million I think, it didn't go into where it's supposed to go at all. No, it's gone off in the piggyback for some other nice lucrative schemes. And I'm sick to the teeth now of seeing, I met people today talking about the CPOs. I'm sorry for diverging a small bit, but I'm sick to the teeth of all these grand active travel schemes. And we can't get a shilling to fix a bridge or maintain a road or take out a bad bend. And engineers and Waterford Council and Tip Council tell me this. Money for active travel. For tomfoolery schemes, putting cycle lanes along a couple of 100 years of a road, what they do in my area, starting here and finishing there and going nowhere. Cycle and walking lanes, and we can't have money to improve low-cost accident schemes and very important life-saving measures. They showed me a cantilever part of that Greenway today. It's your own county, I think, Minister, I could be wrong, or Galway, where they put this massive cantilever walkway, costing, I said, billions, not millions. And they obviously have money for this, they're proposing it. I'm sure the architects got millions already to design it. We have a bridge in Ardfinnan that's closed a one-way system with the last 12, 13 years, and we have to have more consultants, reports, and engage with the prices of the bridge spent on it. And now we have a lovely design for a footbridge, a standalone footbridge, but it's going to cost $7.5 million. If we spent $2 million on the bridge first day, it would have been repaired. And I've said many times, I hate saying this, the night of the flood, I was on the bridge or beside it, when they closed the bridge for the fear. It's a pity didn't go on the flood that night. We'd have a new bridge long, long ago. But I'm diverging a small bit there, but that's the cumulative impact. And all these grandiose schemes, as you have money for things that you don't need it at all. The cost burden on employers and employers will also include mandatory contributions starting at 1.5% gross salary, rising to 6% after over 10 years, which I'm saying that SMEs, operating on tight margins are going to be crucified. And that's the simple fact, because they're only barely surviving. They're nearly underwater as it is, with so many increased costs. The administrative and complexity highlights ongoing compliance requirements, such as monitoring employee eligibility, managing opt-outs and non-enrolments, and updating payroll systems. Who's going to do that in a small business? It's my ban céile innovation and tá grief. And the ban céiles are worn out and tired, because we don't have the staff like they have in departments to pass it on to this secretary, that secretary, another secretary, or county council or whatever. It's single man and a woman who run the business on their own. And they don't have and they're nearly fatigued, Minister, with the amount of red tape and a lot of baloney that's coming down top of them. I have no talk now for anyone who doesn't want to have insurance and doesn't look after their workers and make sure their health and safety, but the amount of bucket loads of it that's been fired on them, and a lot of it is nonsensical. An awful lot of it is nonsensical, but it's making good jobs for the gang, the new brigade that we have going around, the fellas health and safety officers and all these inspectors. And most of them couldn't drive a machine if you give them the whole of Ireland, and they can tell you how to drive it and operate it safely. It's pure nonsense. And I've said here about NERA many times, the National Employees' Rights Association, they should be changed to a supporting organisation, especially after the last recession. We had a bit of a boom, but now we're tightened up seriously again and heading into very dark times and choppy waters. They should be changed to National Employers Support People, because if we happen to employers, won't have the jobs. It's as simple as it gets dark this evening at 5 o'clock and it gets daylight in the morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock. So simple as that. And we're not going to have the employers. We don't nurture them and mind them, and we haven't nurtured them for decades. We have put more paperwork on top of them. We're smothering with it. Paper after paperwork after paperwork. So, as I said, I mentioned earlier about the IBEC and business organisations like that have said the support principle of the auto-enrolment, of course they do, but emphasises the need for alignment with other cost pressures. That's what I'm talking about. The costs. Couldn't be the worst time. And it couldn't be the worst time than it's coming in now, because things are very, very tight. Margins are very tight because you have no record or account of the insurance costs and the claims. We talked about reports, and goodness knows, Minister, we have offices now and support our agencies there for everything. But there's useless, toothless and fruitless, I call them, all these bodies that are supposed to be looking after the costs to protect the consumers. They're not protecting the consumers. They're fattening themselves. They have the black breast pad up in the wall, they have the nice office furniture, big deck chair, and office chair, and a fine big job, and a team under them. Costing a fortune. NERA, I think, have 6 offices all over the country. The finest of offices, Minister, and many other. Look, we know about all the NGOs that are milking this country high and dry, but it's the same with these so-called watchdogs that we're setting up. So many would set up another one. Your Taoiseach has set up more investigation organisations and everything else than he's had hot dinners over his time as Minister and as Taoiseach, and they're do nothing only pushing paper. The vast majority of them, as I said, aren't fit for purpose. Jobs for the boys, and the most of them are retired people out of here or out of the civil service, and persecuting, as I said, people who want to add the enablers, who want to get the work done, who want to employ themselves first of all, and then employ people along and grow their business with good relationship with their employees, and not to be lectured and told with legislation after legislation without any pre-legislative scrutiny. Or even if we have that here, and it's a criticism of my colleagues, there's not enough self-employed people in this House, because they haven't the time nor the energy to go for it. They're too busy working, but they're not. We have plenty of solicitors, barristers, some doctors and whatever else, professional people, but we haven't any self-employed people. And sign us on, we're out of kilter with the ordinary working small businesses. And if you're out of kilter with the small business people, you're out of kilter with our employees, because you push them out of existence. We'll have people on the social welfare. And where's that going to get us? So I'm talking here, and it's 10 years too late, maybe 15 years too late, what I'm saying. It's just gone beyond a joke. And I'm saying, in the name of the dead generations, in the name of future generations, that we cry halt here, look at what we're doing to employers, and we support them rather than persecute them.
You, Deputy, and now we come to the end.